What's up, guys? Welcome back to Club Football, the EPL show. My name is Michael, down in Canberra, and I'm a massive Chelsea fan. After witnessing one of the best World Cups we have ever experiencing, we are back discussing the best league in the world, the Premier League. So strap in, grab a beer, and enjoy the podcast.
You're all caught up.
You're all caught up. She's a legend. Some people say I look like her, actually.
I think any of those teams really could put something together. Maybe bar and Newcastle. I just don't think. I think they've done really well, but I don't think they've got enough quality.
All the political views and ideologies I had at the beginning of the World Cup, all gone out the window. We'll Winter World Cups every single time.
Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Club Football, the EPL show. If you've ever watched the game of football at 3 o'clock in the morning, or got on the train and had to watch a game on your phone, or watch the game of footy in the office next to your boss while your boss is working and you're pretending to work but you're really watching the football, then this podcast is for you because we're just like you. And like I do every week, I'd like to introduce our kid, Jack Hughes. How's it going, mate?
I'm back.
He's back with a bang.
Back once again.
He's back. We'll catch up with you in just a second because, Jack, I can't believe it, Jack. On the main podcast for the first time, we've got Courtney. How's it going, Courtney?
Hello. Welcome back to the World Roundup.
Yeah. More than just the World Roundup this week.
More than the World Roundup today.
Yeah.
In for a treat.
In for a treat, in for a penny, in for a pound. And I'm Tom Hughes, obviously. Thanks to everyone who's come back to listen to us once again this week. We're really excited for the Premier League return, as I'm sure you are. Before we jump into everything, we do have a new song on our away day playlist, which is a playlist that we make, and we just put bangers on.
Bangers.
We just put bangers on, as John says, crackers. We just put crackers on there every week, and this week we've got another Australian band, which is Cousin Tony's brand new Firebird, and it's a song called Hot Pink. I am obsessed with this song. This song's amazing. So jump on our Spotify if you've not listened to Cousin Tony yet. Make sure that you do. Courtney?
Yeah.
Welcome in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You've been sitting in the shadows for so long.
Yeah, I know. Behind the scenes. Behind the scenes in the studio.
Behind the scenes. What have you been up to this week?
Working. Christmas shopping. Stressful.
What have you got me?
Time.
Have you got me a present?
I haven't done any Christmas shopping.
I have got you a present. You're going to love it.
Oh, great. Okay.
You haven't done any, Jack.
It's a life-size World Cup replica.
Oh, I would love that. Jack knows I'm a proper nerd for replica trophies. I don't own. If you did, is that what you've got me?
Well, I don't want to spoil it. Maybe it's a cameo from Messi. Giving the podcast a shout out. Imagine.
I love it.
Speaking of cameos with Messi, did you see Salt Bay's cameo at the World Cup celebration?
Oh, that guy's amazing, isn't he?
I hate him.
Yeah.
And apparently he's not even that good a chef, is he?
No, it's just a meme.
He's just a living meme, is he?
It's just a meme.
I seen him though trying to give Messi a hug. Messi just not interested.
Did you see him trying to do the Salt Bay thing on the World Cup?
Oh,
trophy.
With Sandro Martinez trying to get away from him.
Dead and die.
But you know what?
Did you see the keeper holding his glove on the stage? That was funny.
The guy behind him wasn't impressed, was he?
No, I mean it was holding
with the golden.
It's held in
glove.
Qatar, so it's got to be like very official and strict. And he just went up there and did that. He did not.
That guy.
Yeah, I. The more I see Martinez, the more I like him. He's definitely a goalkeeper. I don't think he couldn't do any other job in the world than be a professional
I think he
goalkeeper.
could. He could be a window cleaner.
He'd be a really good window cleaner, wouldn't he?
He could do other tall man things.
He wouldn't need any ladders.
Uh,
What, he could work at Tesco's, just putting all the soups on the top shelf?
Yeah.
Or he
Boom,
could
straight
work
on
at
there.
could work at like Asda or Audi, like really fast, checking through the
Checking that out.
groceries.
He could do like a very specialist car wash where they only do trucks because he's tall.
Because he's tall.
Yeah,
Get it?
Because he's
Get
tall.
it?
Because he's tall. Tall people hate tall jokes, don't they?
Mm.
Oh, forgot to mention before we commence into the abyss, which is the show. The intro this week was done by Michael. If you listen to the podcast, you will have heard Michael being talked about rather frequently. He's me mate, and he's also a big fan of the pod. So thanks so much, Michael. The only problem with Michael, isn't it, is that he's a Chelsea fan. No
I
offense,
thought you were a Chelsea fan.
Courtney. I'm not me.
Yeah.
You know me. I always used to go them on FIFA, didn't I?
Right.
You know, it's Lampard, isn't it? I always had a little soft spot for him, didn't I? Super Frank. Because people used to call me a fat Frank Lampard. It's true.
I'm only Chelsea fan in the women's. United all the way for the men's.
Can you clarify this for us? So you support Man U for the men's team,
yeah,
and Chelsea for the women. Why is that? Why not the same team?
Well, I grew up watching United because my dad watches United, and I just have always supported them.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark. Mark.
Hey, Mark.
We're calling my dad Mark.
Top
Hey,
fella.
Mark.
Proper good fella.
Yeah, so I've always supported them when I was little, kicking a soccer ball around, thinking they're my heroes. And then when I started watching more Women's Super League, the players that I knew the most about, like Sam Kerr and everyone, Lauren from Chelsea and everything like that, they all play for Chelsea and they're all incredible players. And I watched quite a lot of the games, and they're just an incredible team. They just work really well. I mean, they're top of the table.
They are
at the moment, but yeah.
Do you think that they can get their 4th straight WSL title?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're looking good, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're looking good. And it'd be interesting to see if they can do the Champions League as well this year.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good for that too, but there's some strong contenders.
Well,
Barcelona and PSG.
And Man United still in it?
Nah, not for the Champions League.
I'd like Man United to go head to head with them, and you have to wear a half and half shirt.
You can already see it on the socials, can't you?
Yeah. I'm dreaming of that.
When it's the women's, I gotta go Chelsea all the way.
It's funny, really, isn't it? Because like my association with Chelsea Football Club, the men's team, is that over many years I've although, you know, obviously, look, I try and respect every club. I despise Chelsea, right? But the women's team, it's funny, I don't have the same association with them. You know what I mean? If there's any highlight videos and stuff on, I always watch them from the Women's Super League. Where
well, it's like me. I hate Man United, but Man United's disabled team, I don't feel the same hatred for. I think, you know, it's all about perspective, Tom, isn't it, really?
I guess it is. And talking of perspective, let's find out what's going to be on the rest of today's show. Look, we will be jostling into the World Cup review. We'll have a little chat about our perspectives on that World Cup. After that, Courtney did her pre-recorded World Roundup. So we'll have a
World Roundup.
We'll have a little listen to Courtney getting us all caught up.
For people out there, I need you to know how much I like that segment.
Jack, you say it every week about 4 times.
I know, Brian. I think it's so good.
Jack's like depressed for like the whole hour.
I love the World Roundup.
The first time I heard it, I went, "Oh my god, so good!" And then, like a few weeks on, I was listening to it. I was in the shower, and then that segment was on, and my Mrs. Abby went, "Oh my god, that's like the best bit," and I was like, "I know."
Thanks, Abby.
I know.
I'm starting to think I could make my own separate podcast.
Shut up. You've signed a contract now.
Don't you dare.
I haven't signed anything.
Don't you dare.
She asked me, she sent me a message yesterday. She said she's going to do her own WSL podcast. I said, brilliant. Oh, yeah. She said, do you want to do the EPL roundup? I said, you're taking the mick, aren't you? So look, we've got the World Roundup with Court. Then we've also got a new segment on the show, which is the Maverick series, where we talk about our favourite Mavericks from world football.
Dying to do this.
Yeah, we said we were going to do it ages ago, and
It
you know
was
what
like
it's like.
one of the first conversations about the podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And we were talking about all our favourite Mavericks from football history. Today, we'll focus on one. Then we've got a new quiz this week. You know, we have a quiz every week. This one is called Gobstopper. Again, it's a pun. It's just going to be a quick quiz with the guys. All the answers are going to be Premier League goalkeepers. Then we reach out to you, the people. The reason why we actually make this darn podcast in the first place. We go to the Quickfire Forum, and after that we talk about all things Premier League before we wrap up today's show. Guys, Jack, go and get yourself a beer. Courtney, go and get yourself a kombucha. And we'll see you back after this quick interlude.
Cool.
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 Garen,
It sounds like I'm trying to put on
cool.
a British accent. Garen cool.
Garen cool.
Hey,
Come on,
hey,
everybody.
hey,
Garen
Garen
cool.
cool. Garen cool.
Who did we sing that about?
Cool.
Harry Cool.
Harry Cool. Australian
From one
legend.
Aussie legend to another. And that is how we open the second part of today's show.
Guys, the World Cup. Let's talk it. Let's talk about it, right? Because
sad it's over.
I'm sad it's over, but I'm glad it happened, Jack.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
a great romance.
Yeah. And I don't, like all the political views and ideologies I had at the beginning of the World Cup, all gone out the window. We'll Winter World Cups every single time.
In Qatar.
In Qatar. You can have it. You can half the price they paid for this one, you can have the next one.
Yeah.
So good.
It was good.
Where do
So
we
good.
think? Have they announced where the next one is?
USA, Canada, and Mexico.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a North America World Cup.
So we're going on tour?
Yeah,
tour.
baby.
Announcement. We're going on tour.
John doesn't know
We'll
it
be
yet,
a
but
sponsor.
we're going to stay in his mum's house in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
No one knows yet. John, book us in, lad.
Mr. Sharky's
John.
baby boy is taking us stateside.
Yeah. No, look, it'd be a dream, wouldn't it? It's always been a dream to go to a World Cup anyway, but to go over there would be just awesome. Jack, we've been to Mexico as well. It'd be great, wouldn't it? How great would Mexico City be?
Yeah.
I'm sure Rod will be going back for that as well, won't he?
Yeah. You can get on the disco lettuce as well in Mexico. In Canada, sorry.
Oh, apparently you can, yeah. You can in some
Yeah.
states in America as well.
Yeah. And off some very convenient cab drivers. I've been sold.
Back to the football.
Back to the footy.
Courtney, come on. As an Australian,
Yep.
a valiant effort, wasn't it?
Oh man, it was hard to watch. We honestly did better than a lot of us, I think, expected. But that last game was just heartbreaking for so many of us awake at that time. You went and watched it at the
Yeah, I went into the city.
live. Yeah, that looked cool.
It was
cool though
pretty
because it
good.
felt like all of Australia was awake at the same time, doing the same thing,
Yeah,
and all getting our hearts broken at the same time.
I
know,
loved it.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Jack had his Argentina shirt on.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. No, there was just something about because it's soccer over here, and it's not that sport. That's not funny. You know what I mean? And then people started to get into it. They're like, "Yeah, we did all right against the French." You know what I mean? And getting into it.
Yeah.
Once we won a few games, I think everyone started like getting really excited and going, "Hang
World
on,
Cup fever was on.
this could be us.
You know,
This could be the time."
what I really noticed as well was watching it in Canberra was how widespread football is, and not just across geographical, but culturally as well.
Yeah.
Like there was every different type of person out supporting Australia.
Nice
people who've
sad
come from
people.
Happy people,
Happy
joyful
people.
people.
I think everyone went there happy and left sad, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I think everyone went tired.
Yeah, 6 a.m.
Then got excited and then went home sad. But it was just
Yeah.
awesome to see people from all over the world who now live in this country, who are now Australian, back in Australia. I just thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
So, just give us a visa, Australia. That's all we're asking for.
Yeah. This is a public service announcement from
Yeah.
Thomas David Hughes.
Just give us a ruddy visa, mate. We want one. Did you watch? Well, look, of course you did, but I'm just going to put it out there. Did you watch the final?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, incredible game.
I woke up early. I was in work that morning and I woke up early. And I just, Is it the greatest game of football ever played? The greatest final ever played?
I guess that's the question.
I know you're a Liverpool fan, Tom.
How do you know that?
Istanbul.
How do you know that? Who's told you that?
I know, as finals go, Istanbul is hard to beat. But, man.
I think Istanbul is special because
I heard it's wonderful.
It is wonderful. Istanbul, obviously, we were 3-0 down. Liverpool were 3-0 down. They came back to 3-3 against AC Milan, who were the best team in the world. They won the European Cup, not the year before, but the year before that. They were fantastic. And Liverpool came back, and then Yeti Dudek with a miracle save, and then the penalty shootout. Unbelievable football. It'll never be repeated in that way again. It was crazy. This game was different, wasn't it? Because it was 2-0 to France, to Argentina, and it was dead. The game was dead. France didn't even look like scoring. And then King Mbappe turned up.
Mbappe
22.
He showed up.
He
I read a thing
showed
the other day that was like, oh, it was nice of Mbappe to show up to the World Cup, but no one else.
up. He turned up, mate. He was ready for it.
He killed it.
He was ready for it. And then obviously, Lionel Messi got that goal, which looked like it was done. It looked like Argentina had won the cup, and then obviously France got that other goal, that penalty, and then Martinez made that save at the end of extra time. I don't know how he saved it. It's probably because he's like 6'7" or whatever.
Because he's a window cleaner.
He's a great window cleaner and a decent goalkeeper.
He did overtime at the car wash earlier in the week to get that save.
Turns up, the manager Scaloni was furious at him because he just carried loads of sponges in a bucket with him. And look, to win it on penalties, it was unbelievable. It is possibly the best final that I've ever seen.
So edge of your seat kind of football, Like as soon as France scored again, it was just like, okay, we're back on. We're on. Let's go.
Let's turn this on. Like let's start doing a bit.
And you want it to keep going. You want it to you obviously you want a winner, but you want it to go into extra time and like the intensity of it and everything. But it makes it worth waking up so early for 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So another question: is that Messi now the greatest of all time?
Before he won this World Cup, he was the greatest of all time for me. The guy is just sensational. I've been lucky to see him live twice, and we won twice. Actually, Liverpool won twice.
He's not that good.
But I think he's just I just don't think he'll get touched because I think probably the next best is Ronaldo. And I think even Ronaldo can't get close to him.
Yeah, I think what Ronaldo's done over the last 6-8 months, career-wise, has been very, very, very detrimental. And you can tell he's angry with himself, and a lot of people are angry with him.
Courtney, sorry, Jeff. Yeah, what do you think of that, Courtney, as a Man United fan? what do you think about, Ronaldo sort of just throwing his toys out the pram?
I mean, he just keeps on going on, doesn't he? I feel like he's hit his peak. He's peaked already, and he's not accepting that he's peaked. Maybe not recently. Sometimes you got to just accept your wins and walk away. But yeah.
He's
It's
definitely
like Charlie Sheen in a nightclub. You know what I mean?
Is it?
Exactly.
You've had your day, mate. You're still Charlie Sheen. You're going to pick something up.
Yeah.
But, come on.
I think one of the big things is it's hard to say this because look, if Portugal won this competition, like Courtney was so sure would happen, if Portugal won this competition and Cristiano, scored the winner and whatever, he would win the Ballon d'Or this year, and people would be talking about him again. But it hasn't panned out for him that way. Lionel Messi went from Ballon d'Or winner, then he didn't even get in the top 30 of the Ballon d'Or list, and now the next year after that he would have won it.
He's made a comeback.
He's made a comeback big time.
Yeah. I guess that's what Ronaldo was kind of hoping for with his taking a risk, going in, playing the World Cup again and going. I mean, if it's his whole life, his whole career, may as well take the risk and try and, like you said, we'd all be talking about how great he is if they won the World Cup. But at the end of the day, it's a team sport. He's got his whole team. And it's a team sport. And guess not worth the risk there.
It hasn't paid off for him, but look, World Cup, awesome.
Yeah.
I think with the World Cup, it always starts a bit slow, doesn't it? Like you enjoy it, you enjoy the group games and stuff. It's all a bit enjoyable, but you don't really get that jeopardy. And then the knockout games have just been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Although some crazy scores from the early rounds, like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. That'll be like their flex. That'll be like their flex, won't it? It'll be like, oh well, we were the only team to beat the champions.
Yeah, and it was the 5th game of the whole World Cup. Yeah. And then Argentina saw it through to the end, and what a flex.
What a flex. Before we move on, Courtney, we haven't talked about this on the pod, but Courtney's got like a big, massive. Remember when you were a kid, you had a wall chart of all the games, and
don't call her a child.
She is compared to us. She's only a baby.
Compared to you two. Yeah, I bring the professionalism to the podcast. Thank you very much.
She's like Matilda. She's only a kid. And who won? Who went? You were doing like a tally, weren't you, to see who would win?
Yeah, Sarah won.
By much?
Yeah, she called Argentina, and she also guessed the most games. And we did draws as well. So we had all these papers on the walls of A3 paper of all the games being played. And I printed off our little faces. This is my 2 people I live with, Sarah and James. I printed off little faces, and so we could vote on who we thought would win. Put them on the wall, put little stickers on. Yeah, Sarah guessed the most games and also called Argentina from the beginning.
Can't wait to have Sarah on next week as a host.
Yeah, so Sarah coming on next week. She's going to do the roundup.
I've lost my job. Fair enough, too.
Congratulations, Sarah. Sarah plays football as well, Jacko. So congratulations to Sarah. She obviously knows far more than us. Before we do move on, congratulations to Alex, who guessed that Argentina would win the World Cup. And also to Jack and I's big cousin, Jonathan, who guessed Argentina. And he sent in this voice note.
Hello, Thomas and Jack. Just thought I'd get in touch and try and figure out when I was going to get my prize for predicting Argentina would win the World Cup. Obviously, everybody in the family was sharpening the knives early doors when Saudi Arabia beat them. But just like when we were younger and my footballing ability was a little bit more superior than everybody else, it's now proven that my football knowledge is a little bit more superior than everybody else, certainly in our family anyway. Now, I went for Argentina simply because I just thought the football romance side of things would have been potentially Messi's last World Cup. I think it was something written in the stars, really, and that's why I went for them, and obviously proven right. So yeah, a nice maybe a Argentinian shirt with Messi on the back, or a gold trophy. That'll do me. I'll message you my address and you can send it over. Cheers, mate.
Johnny, mate, good to hear your voice. Yeah, look, congratulations picking Argentina, as I said. Look, we can't be giving two shirts away. The podcast is absolutely skint, Johnny, coming up to Christmas and all that. You know what it's like. But we have got some special little treats that we'll send out to both Alex and yourself. So well done, mate. Keep listening to the pod. We love you, and thanks for all your support. Guys, I'm going to go and get another eggnog. I'm drinking eggnog.
I thought you were drinking eggnog.
It's
Are
alcoholic.
you really?
It's very pale, isn't it? Look at it.
What happened to you, man?
Oh
I
man,
thought it
I
was
just
milk.
got old.
Thought your calcium was low.
I just got old. It has got milk in it, if that counts. So I'm gonna go and get another refreshment, kids. Let's completely just lost. Let's go to the World Roundup, actually,
Woo.
and when we come back, yeah, Courtney's gonna run off and record the World Roundup.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
gotta go. Gotta start running now.
And when we come back, we'll look at the Maverick series this week. Guys, see you soon.
Hey guys, welcome back to the World Roundup. This week in the Women's Super League, my team Chelsea are staying put at the top of the table after their game against Reading, resulting in a 3-2 win. And 3 points below them, slowly climbing the table, we see Arsenal, who won 4-1 against Aston Villa this week, which has me thinking, will we see a double win for Arsenal this year as the boys are at the top of their table too? Another interesting game this week was between Man City and Man United, who not only sit next to each other in proximity, but they also sit next to each other on the ladder in 3rd and 4th place respectively. Game ended in a 1-1 draw. Now over to the A-League. There has been a lot going on here in Australia as we had a very controversial and interesting derby game between Melbourne Victory and Melbourne City. This being named as the most disgusting and shameful events in Australian football history. This was due to flares being thrown onto the pitch, which resulted in City's keeper Thomas Glover throwing it back toward the stands where a large group of people invaded the pitch. This ended with Glover being injured as a protester threw a metal bin at his head which cut his face. Referee Alex King was also injured during the raid, and a full investigation will be taking place for the events of the night. If only England had that much flair in Qatar, hey boys. That's all for the World Roundup. My name's Courtney. Now you're all caught up.
Okay, we are back. Courtney, thanks so much for that roundup. It was fantastic. Can't believe
Ooh,
it.
Courtney.
Yeah, she's good, isn't she? This Courtney.
You're all
She's great.
caught up.
You're all caught up.
Oh.
She's a legend. Some people say I look like her, actually.
And sound like it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely do. What a legend. My hero.
And a new section on the podcast. This is something which we mentioned a little earlier. And this is the Maverick series. It sounds like a new sort of Gillette razor, doesn't it? On the Maverick series, we'll talk about footballers, not just from the Premier League, but from around the world who we think are Mavericks. And we'll just have a little chat about them here on the podcast. This week, we would like to introduce, I think, probably the biggest Maverick ever, Mario Balotelli.
Oof.
What a guy.
What an absolute nutter,
Why always me?
but awesome.
Why always Mario?
What was the first you sort of remembered of Mario Balotelli? Can you?
Inter Milan.
Yeah, you sort of remember those early days at Inter.
Yeah.
I think of him setting his apartment on fire.
Fireworks indoors.
Was that confirmed? Did that happen?
Yeah, that happened.
So what
Yeah, there's
happened then?
photos of it.
So the backstory is he had a house party and he set off fireworks in his bathroom, and then
Best place for them.
This is when he was at Man City, and the club made him apologise. So he did like a video for the fire brigade about like fire safety and fireworks safety.
Did he
No
really?
way.
Yeah, if I think we can find the video, and you can probably put the link in to the episode on Spotify or whatever, and then you can go and watch it after you've watched this. But yeah, and he literally had to apologize, like, "Hey kids, this is Mario Balotelli here. Be safe with fireworks this year."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Apparently, as
Yeah.
well, there was a story that I think he was coming out the training ground one day when he was at Manchester City, and there was a kid there on the street or something, and the kid asked for his autograph, and he said, "Well, why aren't you in school?" And he said, "I'm not in school because I'm getting bullied." So Mario got the kid in the car, drove to the school, and went over to the bully and told him to apologize and stuff.
No way.
And said, "Hey, I'm Mario Balotelli.
Mario Balotelli,
Be
don't
careful
play
with
with fireworks.
Also, leave little Jimmy alone."
Yeah,
You know what? It was the done thing. It was like the Chuck Norris gags. It was, you don't know if any of that stuff was true. How he paid for homeless people to stay in hotels, and like it was so blown up. Firework pun. It was so just like the trajectory of the stories and the tales. You don't know what was true with Balotelli, and that is just fantastic.
yeah.
Mm.
Like,
I mean, as
apparently, go on. Sorry, Carl.
As a fan, you could just make up a wild story and everyone would believe
Yeah,
it
exactly.
because it's him.
You'd have to believe it.
You know?
There was a story.
Yeah.
There was a story that he pissed off Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool because Brendan Rodgers, Sean Connery, James Bond, Miss Moneypenny, because he was bringing like all of his friends around. They were there at like every training session, which is like a big no-no. Apparently, you're allowed to bring like a person. He was bringing like all of them, and they were just like kicking the players off the tennis table.
Really? Yeah.
just like, no, we're playing. No, players like, but we playing for the club. we playing for Liverpool. You don't. And he was apparently kicked out. One of the other like big things was he got caught smoking in the showers at Melwood, the training ground.
Imagine being so like carefree in the
Nonchalant.
world
Yeah.
and everyone knowing your name
Yeah.
and being the up and coming footballer, but just not giving a damn and just doing what you want anyway.
What, Jack? When?
I mean, as well.
Go
Well,
on.
yeah.
No, go on.
I was going to say, as we talk about Liverpool,
Yeah,
what do you guys think as Liverpool fans when he was signed up?
that's what
Good
I was just
idea,
about
bad
to ask.
idea.
That's what I was just about to ask, Jack.
For me,
What were your thoughts?
for me personally, it
Yeah.
was a big name signing.
Yeah,
Mm.
and it
And
was
we
cheap. It
didn't-
was 16 million.
16 million, and it was his
Wow.
last chance. It was his last chance at a big club because he'd messed everything up wherever he'd gone, and it was a thing.
Except for
of-
Milan. Except
except
for
for
AC
Milan,
Milan.
and it was a case of if he bought into it, and he bought into the club and everything, and the fans would love him if he performed. Like, that's the thing with Balotelli. Is like Balotelli, I think they called him that. Is
Balotelli.
he had everything.
Pace, power.
Great at penalties, powerful as anything, skillful. Like, he was a goal scorer, and he did some fantastic things on a football pitch. So when he came to Liverpool, it was like, okay, 16 million. Unfortunately, he was replacing Luis Suarez, who just nearly won the Premier League the season before on his own. And Tom, do you remember his game against Tottenham? It was like his debut.
No,
And
it
he
wasn't.
kept
It wasn't.
shooting-
It wasn't his. Oh, yeah.
He
You're
kept
right.
shooting from like 60 yards out. And the
Just trying to
commentary were
show
like,
off.
Yeah, the commentary were like, we know we can do it. And then by
Yeah.
like the third or fourth one, it was like, all right, mate, pass the ball.
Yeah, spread it out. get it out to Barini or whoever it was.
Have you guys watched Ted Lasso?
I haven't seen all of it.
It's like a Jamie Tart
Yeah,
situation. If you've watched Ted Lasso, you know what I'm talking about.
he's like
It's like-
Jamie, but Jamie gets it right, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Mario,
Yeah, he's
Mario
actually
didn't
pulls
always
through.
get it right.
Mario never got it right.
There's something
Mm.
that strikes me with Mario Balotelli, right? So I've got a quote here. So, like, anyone who doesn't know too much about him or people who remember him will remember he didn't really ever celebrate when he scored. And he's got a quote here. When I score, I don't celebrate because I'm only doing my job. When a postman delivers letters, does he celebrate? First of all, sexist. You can get female post people these days, Mario. Get over it.
Amen.
But the thing that strikes me about this is recently, and not even for this podcast, I watched Mario Balotelli's best bits at Liverpool, which is like a 6-minute video. It's not very long, right?
I think he scored more than 3, did he?
Well, no, this is the thing. So early days, he scored in a Europa or a Champions League knockout game.
Yeah.
I think maybe against, I can't remember who it was, maybe
Someone in green.
Ludogorets. And he scored and he celebrated. And he did like this big fist pump in front of the cop.
Yeah, I was there.
Right?
Yeah.
And I watched that video and I thought he wanted it to work.
Yeah.
He came to Liverpool to make it work.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't get it done. But he wanted it.
It was just one of those. It was just never going to work, you know. And I remember saying to you, Tom, you know, the shirt sales. I think he sold like 50 grand worth of shirts, the day he signed for Liverpool, the day it was announced.
Jeez.
Because people were like, oh, Balotelli. People just went out and bought shirts.
Yeah.
And for someone who had everything, but he was just a lunatic,
Yeah.
an
In-
absolute lunatic.
In the
And I
best
feel
possible
sorry for him
sense.
'cause he's got a very, very sad story, Balotelli, like upbringing wise and family, and you know, like not knowing his parents really until he became super famous, and then, you know, he claimed Italy as his. Sorry, that was very unprofessional. My
That's
friend.
Mario's just sent
That's
some
Mario right
message.
now. Shut up, Jack. Why always me? Talk about someone else. You know, a really, really sad story, and even like how he was portrayed in the Italian media during the World Cup. Remember, they put like King Kong on the front of the newspaper,
Yeah.
Mm.
and it's really sad. But he is also a cartoon character.
Yeah, he's sort of become a caricature of himself, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I think he's okay with that.
Maybe.
I do believe he's okay because he lives on forever.
What's he doing now?
Because
He's
Where's
playing-
Mario now?
He's playing in Switzerland.
Is he?
Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
taking penalties off Jordan Henderson.
I think I was there that game.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. I was there. Jordan Henderson
Were
let him
you?
take the penalty. Yeah. And
Oh, wow.
we were all in the cop, like, what's going on? Why is Mario grabbing the ball off
Walked up
him?
and took it off him.
Yeah,
Um,
when I watched a little video about him before this, that was the first thing that came up.
Yeah.
Was that game?
Yeah. And he scored it, but you know, that's what he that's what he was like. But
Mm.
before we wrap up, another thing as well. I mean, Jack was talking about the racism there as well that he's had to deal with in Italy. He said, you know, he got monkey chants as well given to him by fans, and he got asked about it. And he said, "I've got nothing against monkeys because I'm completely sure that a monkey is smarter than a racist." And
Oh, wow.
I absolutely, completely agree with you, Mario. Before we move on, Mario Balotelli.
Wait.
Yeah.
What about when he was at Inter, the Jose Mourinho quote? And I'm paraphrasing because I haven't got it in front of me.
Yeah.
They were playing against someone in the Champions League, Courtney, and all of like Etu was out injured. Whoever was out injured. Milito. I'm trying to think of some the other strikers probably
It would have been
out
Milito.
injured.
Yeah.
And going into the game, Mourinho was like, I'm starting Balotelli. Like, he's the only option I've got, and he's brilliant when he has to be. Anyway, it's like 38 minutes into the game, and Balotelli gets booked, and Mourinho goes, right, I need to speak to him. So at half-time, he takes him into the changing room, and he spends the entire 15 minutes. Mario, I need you on your best behaviour. You're all I've got. You need to stay on the pitch, stay out of people's faces. Don't do anything reckless. Don't do anything stupid. Stay on the pitch. We've got important games coming up. I need you on the pitch. Mario was like, yeah, okay. Say no more. And on the 46th minute, Mario Balotelli got a second yellow card. Got sent off.
Oh my God.
That's so
That's
so
so
How
funny.
fantastico. Mario Magnifico.
So Mario Balotelli has 462 appearances in his career, 198 goals in competitive games.
Wow.
He's won the Champions League, the Premier League, the FA Cup, 3 Italian league titles, and an Italian Cup as well as a couple of Super Cups as well. Jack, do you want to ask the people a question about Mario, mate?
Mario, welcome to the Maverick series. This is just what we think. But for the people out there, is Mario Balotelli a Maverick or a goose? Let us know.
There you go, party people. All right, look, we're going to have another quick break. When we come back, we jump into the quiz, so get your pens and your papers ready. Okay, guys. Okay, every week we do a quiz. Sometimes we do left foot, right foot. Last time we did all around the world, and we've got Name That Club. This week, we've got a brand new quiz called Gobstopper. And this week, all the questions are about Premier League goalkeepers, and it's 50-50, Courtney and Jack. So you basically just need to write. You need to write your answer. It's very niche because it's goalkeepers. So I thought, let's make it 50.
I got Van der Sar. That's it.
You got Van der Sar. All right. Well, he's in this. He's in the list.
Question 2.
Yeah.
You've nailed it. You've got one right.
Excellent. I'm ahead.
So, guys, get your pens and your papers. All you need to do is write the answer. We'll do the questions first, and then at the end, we'll get your answers. Let's see how many you can get out of 5. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
Okay, number 1. Former Liverpool goalkeeper Sander Westerveld played for which other Premier League club? Was it Newcastle or Everton? Insert cheesy elevator music.
Love the cheesy elevator music.
People at home, I can hear you thinking.
Jack, what did you write?
No, we do it at the end. Don't be cheating. She's
joking,
always
I'm
cheating.
joking.
She's always cheating.
I'm
She's always
joking.
Googling the answers like her dad. That's what Mark does. I'm sure
Mark,
of it.
stop Googling answers.
Stop Googling
I
the
learned it
answers,
from
Mark.
somewhere.
Question number 2. Peter Schmeichel played for Man U, Man City, and what other Premier League club? Was it Aston Villa or Sunderland? What a great goalkeeper. Arguably the best
Oh.
in Premier League, anyway.
You know, when you said, when you asked the question, then I, in my mind, gave a completely different answer to we.
Did you?
Uh-oh.
Well, it's a
Yeah,
good job
he's
it's
in
multiple
trouble.
choice.
Van der Sar.
Question number 3. Edwin van der Sar
Ooh.
joined Man United from Fulham or Juventus?
Big Eddie.
Again, fantastic goalkeeper.
Unbelievable goalkeeper. Honestly, like, the time he spent in that Man United team.
I had
And
a
how-
picture of him on my wall when I was a kid.
Did you?
Him and, I had the United, the whole team framed on my wall, and then I had a picture of Van der Sar as well. I don't know what, I just loved it. That was when I was in the prime of my football days.
Van der Sar.
Well, I never had a poster of Van der Sar, but I did have him as a screensaver. Bum bum.
Boom.
He's a saver, yeah. Number 4. Robbie Fowler scored a 4-minute hat-trick against David Seaman or Mark Bosnich. Robbie Fowler scored a 4-minute hat-trick against David Seaman or Mark Bosnich. Mark Bosnich as well, by the way, has to be said on the air, possibly the worst pundit I've ever seen on SBS.
While we're on punditry, did you see Peter Drury's speech for Messi winning the World Cup?
Beautiful.
I think he might be the most sought after commentator in the land.
He's a poet, isn't he?
He's a poet, mate.
He's really good.
He writes it all.
If you ever get bored, just go online and just type in Peter Drury best bits.
So many.
It's such a
Like
nerd
what you
out.
listen to when you fall asleep.
Yeah,
Just
it's like a calm. The boy from Rosario grows up to be the world champion. All that stuff. Oh, it's just the best.
Pete.
Number 5.
We'll get him on the pod.
Oh, don't.
Dream guest.
Dream guest. Dream guest. Absolutely. Number 5. Who kept more Premier League clean sheets? Was it Pepe Reina or Petr Cech? Who kept more Premier League clean sheets? Was it Pepe Reina or Petr Cech? I think both of these goalkeepers won the Golden Glove at different times. In fact, I know it. I think they won both multiple, which is the fewest goals conceded in a Premier League season. Which is what I thought I'd win one day. Go on, Jeff, what was that?
Can I ask you a bonus question? Can I
Bonus?
ask you one?
Yeah.
Who's conceded the most Premier League goals ever? Which goalkeeper?
Do you want me to
Have
answer
they
it?
quit?
Do you want me
You
to
can
answer it now?
Yeah.
Is it Ben Foster?
It is Ben Foster.
Yay!
He's also made the most Premier League saves ever.
Has he?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, if you play 15 years for Watford, you're going to concede and you're going to make some saves, aren't you?
Hey, leave him alone. Fozzie's a legend.
If people haven't heard the Ben Foster podcast yet, it's well worth a listen.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's a good one. Okay, right, let's do the answers, folks. I'll go to Courtney for her answer and then Jack after that. Number 1, former Liverpool goalkeeper Sander Westerveld played for which other Premier League club? Was it Newcastle or Everton?
Everton.
Jack? Take this
Why
one.
I, lads? Why I that people? Newcastle.
The correct answer was Everton.
You take a seat, Jack.
I think Everton had a
Wayo.
I think Everton had a goalkeeping crisis and he went in for a couple of games, I think. I think he also played for Wigan.
I didn't know he was one of the ones. I thought there was only like four players who played both sides. I didn't know he was one of them.
Treble winner for Liverpool. Number 2, Peter Schmeichel played for Man U, Man City, and what other Premier League club? Was it Aston Villa or Sunderland, Courtney?
I went Aston Villa.
Jack?
I went the same.
It was the Villains, Aston Villa, correct.
We're
Well
the
done.
villains.
Wayo.
Biggest fan over here.
Villains. Number 3, Edwin van der Sar joined Man United from Fulham or Juventus, Courtney.
I went Fulham.
Jack?
She was correct. Fulham.
It was Fulham.
Wayo.
Number 4, Robbie Fowler scored a 4-minute hat-trick against David Seaman or Mark Bosnich, Courtney.
Mark Bosnich.
Jack?
David Seaman.
It was David Seaman. He was playing for
MS.
Arsenal.
Yes.
It was
Wait, so we're draw. We're tied right now, Jack.
Ooh. It was
Boom, boom, boom.
it was the quickest ever Premier League hat-trick, I think, until Sadio Mane knocked it off top spot.
Oh, wow.
Against who?
Was it Liverpool?
Might have been. I
For
think it was against
Southampton?
Liverpool. I think it was against Liverpool.
That's why we signed him. And then number 5, who kept more Premier League clean sheets? Was it Pepe Reina or Petr Cech, Courtney?
I went Pepe Reina.
Jack?
I went Czech, and
Okay, drum roll.
I know Reina won a couple. But I'm hoping Czech won one or more.
Okay. Are you ready?
Ready.
Pepe Reina got 136 clean sheets, which when you think about it is an insane amount.
Mm.
Petr Cech got 202
Yes.
clean
Oh,
sheets.
damn.
For people interested at home, it was Petr Cech, then David James, Mark Schwarzer, David Seaman, Nigel Martin, Pepe Reina. David De Gea is still playing, of course, and can catch up. Oh, actually, no, he plays for Man United. Brad Friedel, Tim
Oi,
Howard,
oi, oi.
Tim
Friedel.
Howard, another Man United player, and Eden van der Sar, of course.
How many Liverpool players in that list?
Pepe Reina, just one. Oh, and Brad Friedel.
How many Uniteds? I heard 2.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it?
Mm.
Why don't you go home and count your European Cups? Right, look, before we get into a massive pub.
Oh, by the way, Courtney, sit down. Take a seat.
So, Jack, you won. What did you get, 3 or 4?
One more than Courtney. That's all that matters.
All right, guys, people at home, please do let us know what you got in that quiz. Right, let's move on quickly into the Quickfire Forum. And the Quickfire Forum is, well, definitely one of our favorite bits of the podcast. This is where we invite you guys to send in your thoughts and messages and, you know, let us know what you're thinking about. So we've got 3 messages this week, and the first is a voice note from Michael, who also did the intro for the show. Right, let's hear you, Mick.
Thanks, guys. Michael from Canberra here. My question to you for the Quickfire Forum is discuss the most important goal ever scored in the Premier League.
Right, good question, Mick. Little Mick. No, he's big. He's big, Mick. All right, most important Premier League goal ever. There's so many goals.
That's a tough question.
I was looking at this earlier. I was trying to flick back. Obviously, Aguero scoring the last minute winner against QPR to win Manchester City the title.
Also, back on the Maverick thing, Mario Balotelli's only ever Premier League assist.
Oh, it was, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. And
He's
the biggest,
only
the
ever
biggest one
assist in the whole.
Yeah, in the Premier League. That was it.
Wow.
was to help give
Some
City
goal.
the title.
Some goal to get.
Unbelievable, isn't it? And then I was thinking, you know, it's hard to say what's the most important, but then obviously Demba Ba's goal at Anfield when Gerrard slipped was pretty big, eh? Like, absolutely heartbreaking. You guys can't see this, but Jack's eating chips. What type of chips are you having, Jack?
Very salty ones.
Where are they
My
from?
missus, a good mini gourmet.
Oh,
My
yeah.
missus is back in England for Christmas, and I have not fed myself properly.
I
this
thought you
week.
wouldn't. I thought
No.
you wouldn't.
Oh, well.
But
What about Company's screamer to win City the league in 2019?
Yeah, it was a cracking goal, wasn't it? That was such a cracking goal. Because it killed the title race, didn't
Yeah,
it?
that was it. It was done. Yeah.
I think sometimes you get those moments that kill a title race, you know? Like I remember Makeda scored a cracking goal for Man United, Courtney. I hate talking about Man United. He scored a cracking goal where he sort of bent it into the top corner against Aston Villa for United. I think it was 3-2 in 2009, that title race. And that goal just knocked the stuffing out of Liverpool. You know, it sort of just killed Liverpool off. I think Steve Bruce scored a big goal for United as well late on in a game which basically got them the title as well.
All I'm hearing is United.
Yeah,
Sound great. Just saying, boys.
Hey, look, I think you've won 11 of the Premier League titles that have been up for grabs. You guys have been in the mix. Not so much lately, obviously.
Yeah, let's not talk about
sort of last
lately,
12
but...
years. And then Michael, I spoke to him on the phone actually today. Oh, by the way, if you're in Australia and you need a videographer or a photographer to shoot a wedding or something, Michael Southam, have a look at him. He's brilliant. He's in Melbourne shooting a wedding today. I spoke to him on the phone and he mentioned the Gundogan goal in that Man City win against Aston Villa, the last game of last season to
last season, yeah, of course.
To hand Manchester City the title. Mick, great question.
Good question, Mick.
Great question.
Then we've got a question coming from Damo. Who are your A-League teams? That's a good question. You know what? Admittedly, I haven't so far watched enough A-League to say really. How about you guys?
Sydney FC, baby. Sydney
Yeah.
FC.
I met Sydney FC when I was younger, having a kick around, and they came to like one of our fields in Canberra. And before then, I had no idea who they were, but since then, got to go Sydney FC.
The Blues. I've been to like 10 of their games. I went to the friendly recently against Celtic, and they battered Celtic.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Battered them. Yeah.
I wish I went to the Derby game.
If you were a Celtic fan, that break your heart watching Sydney FC demolished them. But they're a good team. Yeah. Beautiful new stadium. That's football stadium, Tom, is perfect. You walk through the turnstiles, and then there's no points. Like you're above pitch level, and as you walk out, the first thing you see is the pitch, and it's like wrap around view of the pitch.
That's the one at Moore Park, yeah, the Allianz or whatever they call it. Yeah, no, I don't.
Me and your daddy worked on for 2 years.
yeah, you put the piles in. No, like when I was back in the UK, look, you don't know too much about Australian football. I guess like it's not really advertised all that much. But I knew Melbourne. I knew of Melbourne Victory. But having said that, I don't think I'd support a Melbourne club. So I don't know. I'm quite open-minded. If there's anyone who wants me to support their club and they need someone to go the game with, then let me know. I'm quite open-minded about it. I don't know about John. I think he likes Greater Western Sydney. I think John.
There's a massive rivalry there, you know. Like they hate each other. Fans hate each other.
Yeah, well, recently in the Melbourne Victory and Melbourne City game, do you see that? The riots on the field?
The bin.
Yeah, I talk about that in the roundup, but yeah, wild.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of intense emotions at the Derby games. And the Sydney games as well. That Derby game this year was intense too.
Yeah, no, A-League's picking up storm. You know, one of the toughest things about it is if you're all you watch is the Premier League and you're watching it, the standard isn't the same, but the work rate is, and they're trying to be at that standard. But you just got to accept it for what it is. It's not the Premier League. It's not watching Champions League football. So, you know, but it's good for what it is, and it's growing massively. And if it means kids are watching football, great.
Well, it's interesting in Australia because we have the A-League. A lot of our incredible players get to play for the A-League, and then a few of them go over and play for the Premier League. But in the women's, like, the Women's Super League has so many Australian players because we've got the Women's A-League and stuff, but we don't really have that kind of audience yet. So the Women's Super League pulled so many Aussie players this year, like obviously Sam Kerr and everything. And they're all just moving over, jumping across the lake.
Courtney, when did you start playing football? At what age? Is it in school?
Yeah, when I was about 8, maybe. Yeah, when I was about 8, and I played state league for a bit, and prems for my club. I got offered when I was young, but I didn't want to take it too seriously, which I very much regret now. And now I'm back playing again. Playing Div 1 at the moment. But
no, that's good. Like, obviously, I've been here for like 5 years now, so like when I'm playing, like there's obviously always like women's games going on the next pitch or whatever. But the amount of them that's going on, the amount of teams. When we had our like end of season awards for the club I play for, Concord, shout out the boys and the girls there was like 4 or 5 girls teams. out there,
Mm.
like all the right up from like 15 upwards, and then like the ladies teams. So yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
growing, and it's
Yeah.
massive that it's growing. I think Sam Kerr, someone like that, is why.
Yeah, definitely very important for women's football to have people like Sam Kerr, like those sorts of role models to be like, you can make it, you can do this, you can be the face of FIFA. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I think,
Yeah.
like because I was a liner, wasn't I, for one of Courtney's games.
Yeah, that was great fun.
And it is a different game. It is a different game. It's a different type
Yeah.
of game. There's a lot more communication on the pitch, which you don't get so much in men's football, in a positive way, I have to say, and in a friendly way.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question in the Quickfire Forum. Courtney, you got a message in on social, mate. Do you want to tell us what that is?
Yeah. Yeah. I got a question from Jackson Paisler. We've got, are Arsenal still title contenders with Gabriel Jesus' injury?
Good question, Jackson. I have to say as
What do
well
we think, boys?
before we get into this one, apologies to Jackson, who did send us a message in during the World Cup, but because we sort of had a little bit of a forced break there, we never got to it. So Jackson, thanks. Keep sending them in.
Thanks, Jackson.
Thanks for listening, pal.
God bless you, Jackson.
Mario
Bless you, Jackson.
Mario
What a guy.
Balotelli, right foot, I think, for Jackson there. Jack, what do you think? I mean, to be honest, Balotelli, Jesus hasn't been fantastic for Arsenal in a while, has he?
Arsenal. You said that like Steve McLaren then.
Did I?
Yeah, Arsenal. Well, goals wise and a bit for the minutes he's played and all that isn't unbelievable. I think Darwin Nunez is overtaking him on all of that stuff. But as a team, as a collective, I think it's about moments for Arsenal. It's about winning every game. It's about just going in and just winning the game. That's all it is. And they can't get ahead of themselves. But if they just continue to go, play every team in front of them and not start thinking about, oh, what if City do this or what if so on, and just win those games, then it won't be a miss because you've got other players in that team who can step up and take the burden of the goals. But no, they won't win the league.
Jackson, mate, look, I think, Irish Steve is obviously a big Arsenal fan. And he, I think he's obviously hoping that Arsenal could win the league. I just think that I still think with Arsenal in the moments where it needs to just be gritty and just get it done, I wonder whether they'll be able to do that. January is going to be really busy time for all the clubs. It's going to be crazy. And although Arsenal, I think, have got a really good 11 and then maybe a good
Arsenal.
12, a good 12 and a good 13 and maybe a good 14. I think maybe after that, Arsenal are struggling a little bit. So I think Arsenal will struggle, but I think maybe it's not necessarily down to Jesus. I think that's a good opportunity to move on from the Quickfire Forum. Thanks to Jackson, Damo and Michael for sending in your messages. And thanks again to everyone who's sent in messages over the last couple of weeks, who we never got to. I know Paul did, Tom Stoko as well, and Ben Norton as well on social sent us in a message as well. Let's look ahead then to the Premier League. I think we've just covered Arsenal and whether they are gonna stay on top. Loads of fixtures. Like I can't wait for this Christmas period. It's just gonna be football, isn't it? Who do you guys think will finish in the top four from this point? We've covered Arsenal. You've got Manchester City on a second at the minute on 32 points. Newcastle on 30 points. Spurs on 29 points. United 26. Liverpool 22. Brighton 21. Chelsea 21. Come on, guys.
Obviously I want United to make their way back up, but
You're a realist.
I'm a realist,
know what?
unfortunately.
You know what my mum used to say to me, Courtney?
Yeah, go on.
I want, don't get. That's what she said.
Yeah, from the Book of Karen.
Sorry,
Uh,
where's Liverpool on the table at the moment?
Liverpool is 16th. Sorry, 6th.
Sixth.
Feels like 16th.
Does feel like 16th, doesn't it? It feels that far away.
So do you think United will finish in the top 4, Courtney? Come on. What do you reckon?
Oh,
They've got a game in hand. They've got a game in
Yeah.
hand over Spurs in 4th.
I think they could make the top 4. I think they won't get above City, unfortunately, which is hard to say, but I think they might be able to climb up to 4th, but definitely not for the win. Probably going to call, I'm thinking City might come strong. They've just been consistent and a strong team, you know.
Yeah.
So are you saying City,
For the win.
City, Arsenal, United, and then
Spurs.
Spurs.
Yeah, I reckon Spurs will
That's
stay.
interesting. That is interesting.
Mm.
I think Harry Kane missing that penalty
Yeah,
can do one of two things to Harry Kane for the rest of the season.
yeah,
It can put him down in the dumps, make him lose all confidence, or he's going to go now and score 15 goals till the end of the season.
yeah.
And he's got it in him. So I think if he has that approach, Spurs are gonna be in that top 4 easily.
I think with the break at the moment with the World Cup, he's got time to really go, you know what, that's my only choice actually.
Mm.
Whereas if it happened if he didn't have this break to think about it, come back strong, he might have just fumbled, gone under the pressure because it's new and fresh and everything. But I think he'll come back strong for that.
Yeah.
You have to.
He's going to be adored, isn't
Got
he?
no choice.
Look, as soon as he puts on that
Yeah.
Tottenham shirt again, he's the man. He's the man, you know. And I think sort of in a similar way to what happened with Saka last year, he came back in an Arsenal shirt, and the Arsenal fans just, without doubt, just got behind that kid. And I think Spurs will do the same. From my perspective, look, I don't think that this title race is over whatsoever. I would say, and people will criticize me for this, but I genuinely think that anyone as far down to Liverpool could win the Premier League title this season. I think 15 points is the gap at the moment. And I think we all sort of agree that Manchester City will catch Arsenal. That's 5 points. So we all agree that Arsenal will lose 5 points in the title race. And are you telling me that them other teams can't possibly make up 10 points on the title? I think it's possible. I think any of those teams really could put something together. Maybe barring Newcastle. I think they've done really well, but I don't think they've got enough quality to win the title. But to be honest, I didn't think that about Leicester. So we'll see. And to be honest as well, look, like I'm not just being biased because it's the same with Man City. Liverpool and Manchester City, both teams could easily go and do a 15-game unbeaten run. 15-game winning run. These two teams
reckon?
can put, they've done it in previous seasons, you know?
Yeah.
And as you say, Courtney, like City, you know, they come on strong. So I just can't wait. I'm just so glad the Premier League's back. I absolutely it's
Haaland has been resting. He's ready to
Haaland is
come back, and everyone that went off and played the World Cup will be not exhausted because they're professional athletes, but like Haaland's just been sitting waiting.
Hopefully eating pizza.
Yeah,
Non-stop.
in all the nightclubs in Warrington or whatever.
Yeah.
I imagine his PT right now.
Yeah,
just getting him ready to come back strong.
Well, that's the thing, right? And it is a good question because, you know, if you think of who went the World Cup and you think of the competitors, if you like, for Haaland, you know, you think like Jesus, Martinelli, Nunez, all these boys went to the World Cup and played a lot of minutes. Mo Salah, Haaland didn't play any minutes, obviously, because they weren't in the World Cup. But are they going to be match fit? Are they going to be ready to go? You know, because they've had an extended break.
That's the thing. Is it better to have a break? And I imagine they're still staying very fit, but they haven't had the experience of playing such high intensity games. And as the EPL gets closer to the end of the season, the intensity increases, and people that played in the World Cup are going to be very, very used to that kind of energy already, especially with the crowds they had over there. So do you guys think it's better for the players that have continued in the World Cup or players that had to sit out? I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out.
I think I like that it's the unknown.
Yeah.
We've never had this before.
Yeah.
Never had this before. And I doubt we'll have it again.
Maybe.
So I love that everything is unknown. And if you're Arsenal or Newcastle, maybe this could be the thing. But then we'll people always put that little asterisk next to that one. That was the one all the players went away to the World Cup in the winter for.
Yeah. But I tell you what, mate, they won't care up in Newcastle if they
no
win the league, mate.
Howie, have a tournament in Saudi next time, like.
Eddie Howie. Right, thanks, Jack and Courtney, for joining us as ever on the podcast this week. Courtney, it was great to get you in the chair and on the microphone, mate. Absolute pleasure.
Great being here.
You've liked it? You're not too fed up of us at this point?
Oh, that's a different question. Nah, I've loved it, honestly. Good fun. Good to be able to just
welcome
chill
back anytime.
Chat. Yeah. I'm here every week.
Yeah.
Here every week. My own. Yeah.
Can you tell us we're all caught up?
Yeah, do you want me to finish the podcast so I know we're all caught up?
Yeah, let me throw to you though. Just give us a second.
Yeah.
Thanks to everyone for listening to the podcast. I think it's looking at the clock. I think it's going to be quite a long one this week. But look, we're coming up to Christmas. We haven't been here for a couple of weeks, so we needed a good catch up with ourselves and a good catch up with you, I guess. Every week we say the same thing: message a mate. Especially now around Christmas, not everyone is having such a festive time and a great time. So if there's someone you haven't spoken to in a little while, or someone you know might be going through a difficult time, please do send them out a message. We missed 2 podcasts in the last couple of weeks, and we put on social that it was because of illness. The truth is that recently I've been going through a little bit of a tough time mentally, and I didn't feel mentally in a good position to try and come on and entertain, and I needed some time away from there. I'm very lucky. I've got some very supportive people around me, and without them, really, I might very well still be in a hole, but I'm not. I'm in a good way. So it really is important that you do reach out to people, because people like me, it can have a really positive effect. And for the people who did reach out to me, you know who you are, and I love you, and thank you so much. Look, if you enjoy the podcast, pass it on to a mate. Just send it on on Facebook. You can send them a link. You know what I mean? Just give them a nudge and say, hey, why not? Listen to these people.
Get on there.
They talk about football. Yeah, get on.
Run over stuff.
Get on and get involved. So look, I think I'm going to throw this over to Courtney and she can sign us off for the podcast. Everyone at home, have a Merry Christmas and we'll see you in the new year.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. This is Club Football, the EPL show. My name's
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
No, you're all...
I just wanted to ruin it. Go on, do it one more time, please. I'm sorry.
Come
on, please.
I gotta spend Christmas with this guy. Bloody hell.
Go on, please sign us off.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. This is Club Football, the EPL show. My name's Courtney. Now you're all caught up. Merry
Boom!
Cheers, Courtney. Cheers, guys.
Happy holidays for all those who do not celebrate.
Wonderful holiday time.
Thank you, guys.
See you, guys. See you soon. Love yous.
Merry Christmas.
See ya. Happy New Year.
Ta-da.
Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
thanks again to everyone who's listened to the podcast. We've absolutely loved making it. We had a ball having Courtney in this week. We had a ball having John in last week, and who knows, maybe next week we might get us all 4 of us on the podcast. If you do enjoy the podcast, why not pass it on to one of your mates? It'd mean the world to us if you can spread the word for the pod. We're trying to grow it. We're trying to make it better. And any help that you can do for that would be amazing. If you can also jump on social media, there's loads of stuff going on there, pretty much on the daily. And if you've got a YouTube account, why not jump on and maybe give us a little subscribe on there as well. We will be recording over the Christmas period. We will not be disappearing. We will be watching the football. We will be talking about the football. And we hope to see you there. Have a boss Christmas. Look out for each other. And we'll see you soon.